Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to One for Review, and today I'm going to be talking about a show that I didn't imagine watching at the beginning because of my own reasons. Now, you know, everybody has that moment in time when they look at something and they're like, yeah, I'm not into that, or hey, I don't want to check that out, doesn't interest you. And that happens to me constantly with, well, say anything really, but it happened to me recently with a show called Rascal Does Not Dream of a Bunny Girl Senpai. I looked at this show, I looked at the cover that it had, and I looked at a little bit of the trailer, and I just said no. I wasn't really interested in seeing a quirky comedy about a love story within a guy and his bunny girl senpai. I really didn't care. I was like, oh, I've seen this kind of story before. I'm not interested. The first episode came out. I didn't watch it. I heard good things about it, but I didn't feel like watching it. I thought like, oh, of course, this kind of stuff will always have its fans. It's happened before. So I skipped it. Then came around the second episode. People are saying the same thing. The show's amazing. The show's great. That's when I started catching on a little bit, thinking to myself, like, how can the show be so groundbreakingly amazing all of a sudden to everybody around me? Third episode came out. People were telling me the same thing. So after a while of hearing that this show was like a spectacular masterpiece of work, I decided I guess it wouldn't be any harm in me checking it out. So I went into the show with really low expectations. At the time that I had watched it, only 4 episodes had come out, so I watched all of them in pretty much one day. And as of recording this, 7 episodes have come out. And I have to say, out of those 7 episodes, I know there's an 8th one's going to come out this week, so that might change by the end of this review. Or not even really review, I'm just sort of talking to myself. I have to say, my mind was really changed sporadically, and I was surprised by the show. And the show's main kind of story does have to do with this thing called adolescence syndrome. That's sort of what the running theme is of the story. And I'm not going to talk about the story that much, but that's sort of the overarching theme, which is this kind of mystery, kind of unnatural but yet natural thing that happens to all teenagers, and it's just a phenomenon that happens. So this happens periodically, every now and again throughout the show, and then they have to figure it out. And that's kind of the story. It doesn't sound that interesting, but the story does make it a lot more interesting than I'm making it seem. But what really drew me to the show were the characters. The characters in the show were really, really good. And when I mean the characters were really good, I mean that they were superb in the writing. The writing of this show, the writing between the characters' chemistry, their personalities, and the dialogue that they exchange between each other is absolutely fantastic. And that's really what the drawing point is, at least for me, and I would say most other people. The show is a combination of a kind of drama, kind of supernatural or mystery, romance kind of show. And you could definitely tell by watching it that, yes, that is what it is. However, it's not as just generic as it sounds. Like I said, the characters are absolutely fantastic. The main 2 characters, Sakta and Mai, are really well written characters, and they have such terrific personalities, and they have this great chemistry together that I was just engulfed within the show. I was just glued to my screen. I wanted to see what was going to happen next, with their story. And it was just so amazing to see this type of dialogue come out of it, because it is pretty rare that you find this good of character writing in a show. And that's not to say that the personality and the characterization with all the other characters aren't great as well. All the characters in this show that appear, that do have a significant role, are great. All of them are really good and work well off each other, and the voice acting helps it even more. Now, I'm not reviewing this show by any means. I'm just sort of talking about it because it was a big surprise to me, and I do want people to know that not only was this a surprise, but I do recommend people watch this as a great example of how to do a show with very well-written characters and well-written dialogue exchange between the characters. You know, this isn't the type of show that, you know, it's just a bunch of exposition between Doom Guy and some random little girl priestess.
Hey girl, my parents and my sister were killed when I was a kid. Now I kill goblins for a living.
Kawaii Kurantu.
Don't talk to me like that, motherfucker. Listen to my story.
It isn't that kind of show at all. Instead, this show does a great job. The writers and director of the show, they do a great job of portraying the characters and giving them that great chemistry. Everyone does a great job. The voice actors, the animation in the show is good. The soundtrack is great. I have to admit the opening isn't that spectacular. I actually skip it sometimes because I'm not into it. But the overall story is a very enjoyable story. The characters are superbly written, and I do recommend people check this out as an example of how to write characters and how to write good dialogue exchange between characters. And that's really all I have to say about this show. I don't really want to give away too much, and this isn't a full review because the show isn't over yet. It's only on its 7th episode as I'm reviewing it right now. So when the show is finished, around its 13 episodes margin, I might review it, or yeah, I will review it. But this is just kind of this is just a recommendation video. I want people to go out and watch this. I want you guys to check this show out. Please just do yourself a favor. This is a very entertaining show. I was very shocked. I was very surprised. I have to admit it right now. I didn't expect this show to be anything that terrific. I didn't expect it to be great. And it's not an amazing show, but I do really, really like it, and I do really recommend you guys check it out.